big time trade that happened. Roquan Smith trade. The Ravens acquired Roquan Smith, and the Bears acquired A.J. Klein, a 2023 second-round pick, and a 2023 fifth-round pick. I think this was an amazing move. Roquan is the NFL's leading tackler, two-time All-Pro. He's now replacing Josh Bynes and Patrick Queen, and they couldn't rely on any of those guys to cover consistently. They now have somebody in Roquan who can. This defense is 28th against the pass and 5th against the run. Roquan Smith, he's a great off-ball linebacker. In Chicago, though, really, just the way the NFL is trending, that position doesn't change your defense. Chicago was still one of the worst defenses against the run with an all-pro linebacker, but now Roquan going to Baltimore, it gives them their defense that added boost. You now have Tyus Bowser and David Ojabo come off IR. They're activated. That gives their defense a boost as well.
Marcus Williams should be back soon as well.
Yeah, the biggest question with the Ravens is really, are they going to re-sign Roquan Smith? That's really it. Is this going to be a rental? Are they going to have enough cap space to re-sign him? Because if they don't, it could be looked at as a loss depending on how this season ends. And for the Bears, I love it. They just traded Robert Quinn for a 5th-round pick. They have now 9 picks in the draft and $100 million in cap space. And they just traded for Chase Claypool, so that 9 turns into 8 picks in the draft. But I love this for the Bears because you have flexibility, and now you're building this roster from scratch and in the vision that Matt Eberflus wants it to be. There's a brand new fantasy app. It's called Boom Fantasy. You got over-unders, player props. You got matchups. This player versus that player. That's personally my favorite, and long shots. You can win 40 times your money. And if I'm not mistaken, Joel, NBA is coming soon.
Yes, sir. NBA will be in the app in the next 10 days or so. You know, I believe opening night is October 19th, so we'll have stuff up a few days beforehand. That's going to be fun because we have it every night. You don't have to wait till Monday, Thursday.
Did you get your code? The League Pass?
I did get my code for League Pass.
I got my code too.
Yep, that's amazing.
That's from 2K, right?
Yes.
That's tough.
Amazing.
That's fire.
So if you guys haven't already, download the Boom Fantasy app right now. Link is in our description or in the caption wherever you're watching.
I think this is an A+ for the Bears. Getting a second round pick for an off-the-ball linebacker, someone who is not in your long-term plans. It really shows, I think, growth within this Bears organization. Bringing Ryan Poles, someone who understands where this NFL is going, trading off-the-ball linebacker, and Robert Quinn, who's over 30 years old, for a draft pick for Robert Quinn, and then eventually flipping that second-round pick, even though it wasn't the Ravens pick, for Chase Claypool. We basically replenished that second-round pick. I think it really shows that we do believe in Justin Fields. We want to put some weapons around him. We're not going to wait till the offseason to get him more receivers or more weapons or, fix all the problems with this offense. We're going to go right now, and for these last 8-9 games, let's see what Justin Fields has. I think this at least puts more confidence that, especially with the way Justin Fields is playing, not only in the front office, but the fans, everyone could kind of take a sigh of relief and say that Justin Fields should be the starter in 2023. I know I was talking before the season saying that the Bears could be bad enough to have a top 5 pick and possibly replace Justin Fields. The way he's been playing these last couple of games, I don't think you could think that. And then plus going out and getting Chase Claypool just reaffirms that for me. For the Ravens side of things, in the short term, I think it's a great move, right? I think getting Roquan Smith, you mentioned it, an all-pro linebacker, someone who leads the league in tackles, an immediate upgrade at linebacker. It's a great move for your defense. Plus, getting all of those guys back from injury, we could see the Ravens defense in the second half really take a step up and stop giving up all of these insane second-half leads, although they did just have a really nice win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But in the long term, financially, it's hard to really make sense of this because this upcoming offseason, Lamar's a free agent and Roquan Smith's a free agent. You could only franchise tag one of them. You're going to franchise tag Lamar. So that means you either have to pay Roquan what he wants. He's already said he wants $20 million. He wants to be the highest paid off-ball linebacker in the league. You said it perfectly. An off-the-ball linebacker just isn't game-changing enough to commit that much of your salary cap to the position. It doesn't make sense to pay him $20 million, especially when you have the wide receiver core they have, the offensive line that's been shaky all season. And while they do have some edge rushers, they don't have an elite edge rusher, right? So I think there's still a lot of holes on this Ravens team, and trading a second-round pick, which you could have used on a more high positional value like a tackle, like a wide receiver, instead using that on a linebacker and kind of being forced to have to pay him. If he does walk, they would get a compensatory pick in 2024. So I think that'd be a third-round pick, depending on what his contract is. If it is around $20 million, getting a third-round pick when you just trade a second in 2022, okay, it kind of evens out there. 2023, that should be. But I just have question marks because the Ravens salary cap situation, you have to pay Lamar all this money, and you have to play Roquan, and you still have to put all this team together that we see the ceiling is capped right now, right? We see this team that have struggled in the playoffs, whether you want to blame it on Lamar or the rest of the team. constructing this team as a whole, it's not the top 3 in the AFC, right? It's not up there with the Bills, not up there with the Chiefs. You look at the Bengals offensively and defensively, it doesn't par up with them either. So they have a lot of holes to really, fill. But Roquan's a great player, and it's going to help him this year.
For me, you guys mentioned it a little bit. The Chicago Bears have $100 million in cap space. They also have draft capital. Now they've, Chase Claypool, as much as we like to joke about how he's mid and whatnot, he's still better than what they had. So now they have Claypool, they have Mooney, they have the cap space, they have the draft capital. Now it's like, okay, do we trust this quarterback? I think they should. He has shown complete confidence, complete ability in his game and improvements week by week by week. Justin Fields should be the guy next year, even if they did have a top 5 pick. Shout out to Bryce Young, shout out to CJ Stroud, but this man has shown improvement every single week, so this is a great move for them. For the Ravens, I look at them kind of how I look at Green Bay. I wish they would make a move to bring in help for their quarterback. I feel like when you playing in the AFC, you got Josh Allen. What put him over the top? Stephon Diggs, right? You have Mahomes. Mahomes is great, but Hill was the guy that put him over the top. That's the guy you make that play to in the fourth quarter. You need those type of guys. You look at Tua. What put Tua over the top? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Water. You need that type of receiver to kind of help your quarterback, put you in that type of conversation. As great as Lamar is with his feet, as dynamic, he's the most dynamic player in the NFL. You still need that guy on the outside, that guy, the receiver, to help put you over the top. So I think they could have made a move at the deadline, to try to get somebody like that. But, Roquan Smith is still a great player. He's going to help that defense because Baltimore's defense was, when we coming into the season, was the thing we were talking about the most. They were supposed to be this elite group, so he's going to help, no doubt. But I just wish they would have made a move to get the type of receiver to help Lamar. But still, nonetheless, good move.
The first 2 moves we talked about were moves that were made before the day of the trade deadline.